Hello, camera nerds. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Camera Nerds podcast, where we abandon all traditional forms of YouTube videos and we embrace the spontaneity and the philosophical side of content creation and life and what have you. I'm your host, Cory Mayo. So first off, how was your week? Hopefully everything was well. Mine was relatively productive. We'll have a store open soon, so that's exciting. So if you guys are interested in some digital assets to improve your videography, in photography, I'll have kind of a LUT store happening really soon. But yeah, hopefully you guys have been doing well. Due to the title of this video, you might be here to get some of your questions answered about a recent video I posted here on the channel about my FX3 and some firmware update that caused some trouble to my camera, to say the very least. First and foremost, thank you guys for the support on that video. A lot of great questions, a lot of good conversations happening in the comments. Brings me to my first topic before I want to dive into those questions. I will be diving into quite a lot of those comments and answering them directly because I think it's like 500 plus. It's just too much to answer. But first, I wanted to address kind of my role here and you guys and viewing this channel as far as camera tech and reviews and tutorials. It's my job to report these findings for you guys, and then you guys can make, educated decisions on maybe what gear kind of fits your certain workflow, as well as just providing some educational content. That's really important to preface this as to maybe some motives behind why I post certain videos, because ultimately I'd like to, if I can, have a more positive impact in the camera world here on YouTube. And I don't really look for, posting negative reviews and, bashing type pieces here on the channel at all. But I do think it is, important to report back to you guys certain findings and certain things that I experienced with my camera. Therefore, hence that video. I'm not looking to run any camera brand out. If you follow the channel for many years, I've shot on every single brand: Canon, Sony, Nikon, you name it. I've shot on it. I really don't have any allegiance to any of the companies. They do not send me anything for review at this point. I don't. This is all stuff that I buy with my own money. The process of how things work, especially with firmware, is it's more of reporting and waiting to see, if there's a response, if there's a patch that can be made, and then that patch rolls out and things get fixed. And this is kind of a main majority of how things get fixed. I appreciate you guys sharing your story in the comments of some of the things that you guys are experiencing with your FX3. That gets reported to maybe the reporting center or maybe to Sony support, online. But let's be real, not many people are posting YouTube videos about it. I can't imagine there's not a lot of people doing that. So I think it's just important to let things breathe a little bit, give some time. I think it's been only 6 days or so since that video has been posted. Each brand, each company, a chance to respond, make things right, and hopefully take care of a lot of different Sony customers. Not saying that they will. I haven't heard anything back or anything like that. Emails down in the description. Ears are open if you guys want to chat. But yeah, I think it's important to give companies time to respond. There's a lot of parameters at stake here, right? I appreciate the support, a lot of support in the comments, and a lot of love, a lot of strong feelings, to say the least. We'll go through the comments. First time I ever got a notification on my phone where it was a Reddit notification and it was me, which was weird. That was crazy. Posted by somebody, that was me. So I was just like, oh, wow, I've made it to Reddit, made it to Facebook groups, what have you. Yeah, a lot of feelings, a lot of conversations. Address a couple things right off the top of my head before we dive into some of those comments that I can just kind of remember. Number one, the price. So $700 to repair, or the starting price, really, to repair the FX3. Kind of my thoughts on it. So in that original video, I didn't really, or maybe it was just misunderstood. My frustration wasn't directly with the price of repair. It's just the responsibility of who's paying the price. So I wanted that to be clear. These things may take a lot of speciality to open a Sony FX3. These people have jobs. I think the repair center was in Connecticut or something, whatever. It's in the USA. So there's a cost of doing business in the USA. My beef is not with what they're getting paid to repair cameras at all. So that got a little bit confused with I saw some arguments between back and forth about the price, $700, and these people, it's a very specialized job. I can't open an FX3, and I'm sure that the cost of labor of doing that is a lot. But hey, if it's a firmware update from Sony, I don't think I should be able to have to pay that. But as far as like the actual cost of it, pay these people what they're worth, if not more, because to be fair, the camera industry at whole is not doing very well. Number two, the Sony release notes doing that update. So I just wanted to address this real quick. I think I've done it in a couple of the comments already. But yes, I did follow the steps according to the release notes. You had to update from version 2 to version 2.04 and then update to version 5. There's a lot of debate of people saying you got to follow the steps, or I would have just updated from version 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 and etc. I highly recommend if they put release notes in an update, you follow those. You do not update in order. I know for warranty purposes, especially if you are still covered under warranty and all that kind of stuff, follow the release notes. Don't go outside of those. Another common question, so I could just address all of those. Can I return the camera back to the original firmware? According to Sony support, according to the repair center, no, I cannot. It is stuck in version 5. We did do some steps to like kind of reset the settings and see if it goes back to an old version or what have you. No, it's still stuck in version 5. All it did was just erase my original settings that were on the camera. A couple of people were saying that there's a trick where you can do, version 5.1, edit in the notes, then you can do a force update. I'm not going to take that route because currently, I'm recording on it right now. I have a working FX3 and I do not want to jeopardize that, have more features not work or completely brick the camera. And now I'm out with a FX3 and it's just terrible, right? So I have the Bluetooth turned off and so far it is working as designed, just do not have any Bluetooth functionality to the camera. Hopefully wait for Sony to release an update, which a couple of people in the comments, I don't know if they're more plugged in with what's going on with the camera than I am, but they said that there should be a release coming soon, a patch, and hopefully we can address these issues. All right, Ryan here says $700 minimum is an absolute scam and shame on Sony. It is quite expensive to repair, but let's see what they might have a patch come out, so maybe it's a little early to accuse these things. I think there should be reporting time period of reporting an issue and giving time for a company to possibly fix that issue. So time for a class action lawsuit. I think we need to kind of wait out to see what this all comes about relatively early. It's only been like about 5 days. Companies need to take responsibility for shit like this. It's not on the customer. If they offer the firmware upgrades and it breaks their products at any capacity, it's on them. Trust is everything for working professionals. Thank you for posting this. Well, no problem, Alex. Appreciate your comment here. And I absolutely agree. Companies do need to take certain responsibilities, even if it's out of warranty repairs. If they're pushing out firmware updates and new features onto a camera that is supposed to be relatively safe for all customers, you do need to take responsibility for cameras that you completely combust. Not to mention, a lot of these comments are from a lot of other FX3 owners that have way worse problems to their cameras than I'm experiencing, like total meltdowns. Some person commented they lost half a ceremony, which is like absolutely terrible. So yeah, absolutely, completely agree. My Sony FX3 is still running the original firmware, and I'm reluctant to update when I see people having serious problems with their camera after firmware updates. This is a professional tool for me, and stability is more important than anything else. Completely agree. And yes, at this moment, I am reluctant to recommend anybody kind of messing with their firmware with their FX3. I would say if you have backup camera or you're still in warranty, then maybe you should weigh out the pros and cons of upgrading your firmware. But if you are out of warranty, I could solemnly say this now that I'm on the other side of this. Don't mess with the software. Don't add any upgrades to your camera, because you will be in a similar situation. Possibly. There's definitely plenty of people that have no issues, and I'm very happy for you. I applaud, but yeah, that is not everyone's case. So yeah, that's very smart route. Come on, Sony, flashing firmware should be around $50. So I do not know how much that is cost. I don't know how much is involved. If I had to take a guess. Without being educated at all, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I think it would cost. It wouldn't be a huge cost to flash firmware. But yeah, again, I'm not too sure. But it would be nice if it was only $50. I would send my camera in right now. From the release notes, this is from Simon. The release notes, there should be read for installing anything. Hope they come out with a patch for this because $7 is the same money to flash firmware. Yep. Correct. Yes. And again, yes, read your release notes. Make sure you follow those directions. Highly recommend don't to go out those parameters. There should be an option to roll back to the previous firmware. This should be absolutely possible by preparing an SD with appropriate bootloader and firmware version, irrespective of the current firmware version installed. If this is not possible with any camera, it's a massive oversight because there will always be possibility of bad firmware installing borking a device. This is from Neil Hester Skateboarding. Yeah, I totally agree. I think there should be an option for that. So if they don't think of a patch for this version 5, maybe they can roll out a offloading program to get us back to previous firmware where all of our features worked on our camera. That would be fantastic. My stance on this is, again, I think I've said in a couple of the comments, I'm just gonna follow the steps that Sony has instructed me to do and not go out of those guidelines, because then they really don't have any reason to help me out on my camera because I was not following any of their directions. So yeah, I'm going to stick to those guidelines, and from now on, that's kind of my stance for that. This is incredibly frustrating. I recently made the switch from Fujifilm to Sony, and hearing about your experience is both shocking and disappointing. I used to think Fujifilm was the only company that compromised their products with firmware updates, but it looks like Sony might be guilty of the same. Have you reached out to the seller? Here in Europe, most commercial resellers use electronics provide a 12-month warranty, but I'm not sure how it works with where you are. Stay strong, man, and I hope Sony resolves this issue very quickly. Thank you, DPVG. Yeah, appreciate your comment. So I purchased from a local camera store. Very great people. They do have a warranty period for used stuff. It's like 14, 15 days if you find anything issued with it. Unfortunately, this was a month ago. It's kind of out of luck there. But yeah, most camera stores offer a 12-month warranty on new gear. But I did purchase used, and I don't fault them at all. This shouldn't be their problem. It worked completely fine for 15 days. There's really nothing wrong with the camera. When I purchased it, it's just a firmware update, and this kind of happened, and here we are. So appreciate it. Thank you for the comment, man. Every single camera-oriented YouTuber should be talking about this nonstop. Threaten and boycott. We need to make buyers feel like they have some power in these situations, but of course, most will stay silent in hopes to further corporate shill aspirations. Yeah, I appreciate. I've gotten a couple, comments from YouTubers that highly respect, Philip Bloom, but other YouTubers. I think we all have, a certain job as a YouTube journalist, sharing reviews and sharing our experiences using gear, especially on a platform like YouTube. I think everyone has a responsibility to report their findings in a honest and unbiased way. Of course, is there people that are persuaded with free gear and stuff? Of course, that's always going to happen. But with from a lot of the YouTubers that I follow, and I would say for the majority of these YouTubers, I would say that's not the case. And I think most people have good intentions. And I just think if there is ever a need or ever a change on YouTube with camera review and camera tech stuff, I would say there definitely needs to be a little bit more voices highlighted of people that are in more active roles of using the gear, like people that are doing professional photography, doing video, and reporting their findings. I would love some of the channels I like following do that, and I love following those types of people. Those are some of the people that I look up to, and I respect a lot of their opinions because it's a lot of the gear that they're using on a day-to-day basis. Tony Ohm, appreciate your comment. Here's Sirix 2K. Meanwhile, I had an ancient used 8-year-old at the time Canon 5D Classic that had a mirror falling out, and a shoot with Canon replaced it for free of charge because it was a known issue. In fact, I found the correspondence. Thank you for contacting Canon product support concerning your EOS 5D camera. I'm sorry to read about your mirror disconnecting. It had some come to our attention that is a rare instance. Main of the some EOS 5D digital SLRs cameras may detach due to deterioration in the strength of the adhesive. As a result, Canon USA will repair and reinforce the mirror portion and affected. Canon will also cover the cost, shipping, and handling. At the time, I was a poor college student, and this meant the world to me. They repaired the camera, cleaned it, including cleaning the sensor, and overnight it back free of charge. That's how you do customer service. A couple of years later, when I had a real job, I splurged and bought a Canon 5D Mark III, and I continue to use Canon on the daily. That is fantastic service. Wow, that is amazing that they did that for you. And yeah, absolutely. That's a absolutely. Thank you for sharing that story. That's a great, instance of great customer service. And you know, to be fair and to be frank, I do want to say that I did own a Sony A7 III, and I did get my audio jack repaired free of charge, because it was a known issue on Sony's part, and I guess it was well reported as well. Like the audio jack was kind of faulty on those cameras, and they had no problems, and I got it replaced within a couple weeks. So yeah, so it could be just another thing again of like not enough reporting happening. I don't know what have you, but hopefully we can get this repaired, not only for my camera's sake, but for a lot of those comments in that video, they can get their FX3 repaired. Purpose lens photo media. Wow, I can't imagine how frustrated this to deal with. Honestly, your best bet may be to reach out to Gerald O'Dunn, Philip Blue, Alistair Chapman. These guys have a lot to pull with Sony and can probably get the ball rolling for a faster reach out than yourself. Although Sony should treat you with respect and value, most large companies respond to situations that get a lot of attention. Let's please make sure you keep us updated, no pun intended, on the situation. That's actually pretty funny. Wish you nothing but the best. Thank you for sharing your story. Yeah. Thanks for the comment. Yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely post an updated video in case this gets handled. Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep you guys updated and hopefully we can get it resolved. And again, yeah, not just for my camera, because it seems I got kind of the lucky end of the faulty firmware. It seems that other people's cameras don't even work at all, or they're like one person commented they lost half of a wedding ceremony. So that's not good. So yeah, absolutely. I think that's about it. I think I've answered most of these. Wonder if you can install earlier version. Can't. Factory reset, not an option. Had the same experience when I did an upgrade to my camera. I don't think I'll stay with Sony. Yeah, if it's your own personal decision, if you don't want to shoot a certain brand or not, obviously, like, do you, boo. But let's not jump into conclusions. I saw a lot of comments just like going back and forth. I didn't realize there was a war between Fuji and Sony, but I guess I'm new to that. But yeah, a lot of Fuji users, saying, "Oh, that's what you get for making fun of Fujifilm firmware updates." Let's just stop the camera brand like war thing. I'm not really involved with all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you want to, if this video, inspired you to sell Sony gear, then so be it. Me personally, I don't think that's, financially a good move for me. Take a breath. And I guess that could sum up a lot of these comments. It's just, I guess we could just sum it up there. But yeah, from the majority of you, like 98% of you that liked that video and pushed it through the algorithm, much appreciated. And thanks for the feedback. So if you made it to this far in the video, into the podcast episode, appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe if you want to support the channel even more. Join the Patreon. Yeah, like this video. And hopefully you guys are doing well out there and staying creative. Happy shooting, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.